Gen Z is the loneliest generation in history, and it's not because friendships are supposed to fade after high school. It's because most of us helped it happen and had no idea we were doing it. School friendships weren't really something you maintained. They were maintained by the system. Same building, same schedule, same experiences. You didn't have to keep in touch. You just showed up. And even then, most days still ended alone. You went home, got online, played games, Discord until 2 a.m. Same time tomorrow, and tomorrow actually happened for years. We survived entire Minecraft eras together. That felt like friendship. It was the machine. Now you actually have to choose to show up, which sounds easy until you realize you never learned how. One person goes to university, one gets a job, one disappears into a relationship. You skip one hangout, then another. They do the same. In school, there was always another Tuesday. Now there isn't. Every time you said we should hang out and didn't mean it. Every message you left unread. Every plan that never turned into anything. That wasn't drifting. That was participation. Active ghosting disguised as just being an introvert. A lot of us didn't even start with big friend groups. Just 2 or 3 people we actually relied on. So when one disappears, it doesn't feel like losing a friend. It feels like losing the whole system. Nobody decides to replace their friends with content. It just happens. First, it's background noise, a YouTube video while you eat, a podcast on the walk somewhere, a stream running while you do something else. Not because you're addicted, because silence started feeling weird. Then you actually start listening. You find a YouTuber who talks the way your friends used to, a streamer who's live every evening, and you start building a routine. Before long, you know their opinions, their humor, jokes only people who've been watching for a while would understand. You know more about some YouTuber's daily routine than the guy you sat next to for 4 years, and they don't know you exist. Parasocial relationships work for a while. Who needs friends when I can watch 16 commentary channels that all sound exactly the same? Somewhere around the point where you start googling where they're actually from or how old they are, you know you're in the deep end. Discord fills the gap differently. You join a server, people recognize your name, you have inside jokes, someone replies to you in seconds after you send a message. It almost feels like a real friend group. That's when you open their profiles and remember why you don't use Discord. During lonelier periods, even I've ended up on my favorite YouTuber servers. I told myself I was just there for channel advice, but really I was somewhere where people were around. Someone even recognized me 2 years later on a completely different server. I had no idea who they were. They remembered me and our conversation like it was nothing. I didn't know how to feel about that. Online friendships can be real, but there's a ceiling. You can't grab food together, can't go fishing, and the longer you stay there, the more of the other kind, the real face-to-face socializing, starts feeling like effort. You stopped talking to people, you started listening to them instead. And for a while, that felt like enough until it doesn't. Eventually, you make plans, real ones. You actually leave the house. You've been looking forward to this for weeks. Everyone's there, same friends, same group chat, and somehow it doesn't feel the same. Conversation starts normally, then there's a pause. One person checks their phone, then another, and now you're somehow lonelier than just being alone at home. You don't know where to look when you're not looking at a screen. Is this how people move their hands? Why do I feel like a robot? You finally think of something funny to say. Someone changes the topic half a second before you get there. You make another joke. Someone hits the "that's crazy." You now regret opening your mouth. Glad I risked my entire self-esteem for that. There isn't a delete button in real life. You just sit there, wondering if everyone else noticed. They did. And you realize the conversation moved on without you. You are buffering. And the weird part is, you used to be good at this. Now it feels like you're playing on 300 ping. Social skills aren't personality, they're practice. And we spent years practicing the version where you can think before replying, rewrite every message, and leave whenever you want. Then we get confused when the live version felt harder. Being alone wasn't the problem. Staying there too long was. And now the silence doesn't feel strange because nobody's talking. It feels strange because you're surrounded by people and somehow still feel alone. Here's the good news. The friendship probably isn't as gone as it feels. We are guys. You can disappear for 2 years, send a meme with absolutely no context, and somehow you're talking again 10 minutes later. If you do need new people though, they almost never appear the way movies tell you. You don't walk into a room and instantly find your next best friend. You just keep seeing the same people. School did that for you. After high school, you have to recreate it. A job, university, a gym class, a sports club. Anywhere you keep seeing the same faces until conversation stops feeling like work and just happens. That's how most friendships start anyway. Not because somebody was especially confident, just because somebody kept showing up. And eventually, so did everyone else. Last weekend, I was at the cottage with some of my old high school friends. I hadn't seen them in months. The first 20 minutes were a little awkward. Then someone grabbed a fishing rod. Someone else started barbecuing. The World Cup was on in the background. And without anyone really noticing, everything felt normal again. Turns out, friendships don't really disappear. Sometimes they've just been sitting there, waiting for somebody to send the first message. If this felt familiar, there's a good chance you'll like the other videos on this channel too. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.